Alright. Hello, everybody. Once again. So yeah, I am back. I had to leave before because, well, nothing was really going on. So I just left for that incident. But I am back now to cover these 3 tornado warnings, currently all in North Carolina, which wasn't expected by the SBC to be the main area of concern. Some others it was, but that's besides the point. What we do have right now is 3 tornado warnings in North Carolina, and severe thunderstorm warnings surrounding those. So, this is a concerning situation, partially. You just have to be in your safe spots in all these places in the tornado warnings, and you'll be fine. But just make sure, you abide by all the warnings, and you listen to local National Weather Service to make sure that you'll be okay. So there is some strong rotation, possibly strong. It's not like super strong, just somewhat strong rotation near Rhonda, and that is. This is a little confusing. It might be a debris ball, but I'm not sure. It might not be. If you see those blue colors, sometimes it means there's a debris ball. It's just... See, the problem with this storm, the radar is really far out. The radar is far away. And what that basically means, it basically means that the radar beams are higher up in the atmosphere, because the Earth is in a curve. Earth has a curve to it. It causes those radar beams to not hit directly at the bottom of the Earth's surface, because they don't curve like the Earth does. So, these are hitting higher up in the atmosphere, which means there could be rotation higher up in the atmosphere, but the CC, the high-res correlation coefficient, when that's higher up, either that means that there's a strong tornado picking up debris high up into the atmosphere, or it might be covering something else that's up in the atmosphere. Now, it does look like, since this isn't lining up with the velocity, it does look like, at least for now, that this isn't a tornado on the ground. It might have been previously, and that might have been damage from a previous tornado that just lifted. However, we're unsure at the moment. We're hoping not so. But this is Tornado 1, so still heed this warning and take shelter. If you live in Rhonda, Jonesville, and this area of Interstate 77, find an exit outside of the tornado warning. Do whatever you can if you're driving along Interstate 77 in this local area between Jonesville and Poplar Springs. Just heed this warning and take shelter. But otherwise, we do have a somewhat significant setup today. We had some tornadoes, of course, as I mentioned on my previous live stream. We had some tornadoes in Florida. One most notable, I believe it was only one, although we had one water spout, which may have become a tornado, but we're unsure. But of course, there was this tornado near St. Augustine. And that I already mentioned, and it definitely had an extreme roar to it. As some tornadoes do. It probably was a wedge, which is unfortunate because those tornadoes are usually strong, but we have to really see. It doesn't look like too much damage has appeared so far. We're waiting to see when the next damage photos come out, but at the moment, it doesn't seem like it caused too much damage. Still, though, it impacted a lot of people, so we have to be aware. Okay, so there is a small area of rotation, not anything too insane, but small area of rotation appearing towards Mount Airy and Dobson, along Interstate 77, near its junction with Interstate 74. You can see a little bit of those brighter colors and less brighter colors next to each other. It does not have a debris ball. It is part of a storm, though, so definitely something is there, but it's just a small rotation. It's not anything too insane. Alright, let's see if we can get some cameras in the area. I do have North Carolina dot. Drive NC. Which is not loading. There we go. Alright, let's see if there's cameras in this area. So, we do have a few cameras. One here. It's not showing too much. I believe this is right now. I don't know if this is being filmed or just taking pictures of. I'm unsure at the moment. You can see there's some storm clouds there, so it's not like there's nothing around. But I don't know if this is heading in the direction of the storm or not. Alright, so it does look like this rotation is getting... Is it? It was kind of a little stronger before, actually. It's kind of getting weaker, to be honest, as it approaches the intersection between Interstate 77 and Interstate 74. So that's good news. Still have rotation on the storm near Mulberry. You can see it here. Even though this tornado warning is about to expire, it isn't the biggest rotation. And this storm near Rhonda, it does seem like it has weakened a little bit. Still some rotation on it, but it does look like it's slowly weakening, even though it is as much as this rotation over here near Mount Airy. So that is definitely interesting. This does look a little broad, which means that if you see like those, like, a bigger gradient, if you see a slower gradient, like if it takes a while for the colors to mix together, then that probably means it's broader rotation. So that means that there probably isn't a tornado on the ground or anything as such. Okay. Yeah, this still is a rotation near Roaring River. Let me see if it has that debris ball thingy. I don't know. I mean, has that been consistent? Okay, well, the new frame just came in. I have no idea. That could be a debris ball. Oh, okay. So, yes, the National Weather Service does agree. Either this has been a debris ball. Yes, this is a radar-confirmed tornado now. Yes, so the National Weather Service does agree that that is a debris ball, and now there is a confirmed tornado heading towards Rhonda. Everybody in Rhonda should be in shelter. Let me just see how many people live in Rhonda, because I hope it's not a lot. I would check on the Twitter website, or X website, how many people are in that warning. I don't have it, so, population of Rhonda, Carolina. 440. So that's not a whole lot, but still, those 440 people, we do need to take care of them. We do need to inform them if you have their number. If there's anybody in Rhonda, North Carolina that you know, there is a confirmed tornado on the ground, heading towards Rhonda. It's also heading towards Elkin and Jonesville, Pleasant Hill, Klingman, Arlington, and Swan Creek. So this is a tornado on the ground in North Carolina. Okay, so that other tornado warning towards the west has weakened a little bit, enough to where the tornado warning has expired. It does seem like that rotation is kind of weak and broad at the moment. So that thankfully means that that tornado warning is gone, and those in Mulberry and North Wilkesboro can get out of the shelters. But this is an observed tornado still in here, in Interstate 77 between Jonesville and Dobson. You still have a tornado warning that is confirmed in this area. So let's look at another tornado warning. Let's move to this radar that's closer to the region. This is a terminal radar, which means it doesn't go out as far, but still, it works. Alright, the problem is there's something blocking this. Basically, when you have your line shape here, that means there's something blocking the radar. So, it's like I'm not sure what exactly it is, but it's something blocking the radar beam, so. Okay. Along Interstate 77, you see a little bit of an area of rotation here near Harmony. It isn't that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. I don't know, there's a lot of areas of rotation here in North Carolina, so these storms really have popped off. I will take a look at the forecast shortly, but we gotta get through these tornado warnings first, because they're more important. Yeah, you see, the risk, this brown outline means the 5% risk, and then there's this yellow outline that means the 10% risk. So, a lot of these tornadoes are not forming in the 10% risk. They're forming in the 5% or 2%. Which probably means just a lack of forecasting correctly. But these are the storms in North Carolina that are taking advantage. So, be aware in North Carolina. Be aware. Let's see if that rotation is let up a little bit. No, not really. Yes, this has been continued now, this tornado warning, as it's entering out of the original tornado warning. Now it's heading towards Dobson. Everybody in Dobson should be in shelter. And along Interstate 77, all the way up to near the Virginia border, you should probably be sheltering if you're driving out that area. How you're supposed to shelter if you're driving, just find a nearby sturdy building with an interior room, basically a basement or an interior room that will be able to shelter you properly in the event of a tornado. So just find a building that has those accommodations, and then you'll be fine. But just be aware, along Interstate 77, let's see if we can get any cameras there. This is the only camera we have. And is it updating? It does not seem like it's updating. Let me see if there's another one by that other tornado warning. Near Statesville. Jeez. Yeah. Oh no, this is not a camera. Not a lot of cameras. Oh! Alright, this is interesting. You can see dark skies in the region. Looking pretty bleak at the moment. In this area. Still a camera up here. Does not look like that's updating. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's updating, so I don't know. Yeah, let me... Yeah, it doesn't look like it's updating, which is unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Let's see if the other camera is updating. I don't know if that camera's updating either. It's very unfortunate. So... Doesn't look like... Okay, it looks like this camera did just update. Still nothing we can see. Unfortunately, there's mountains blocking the view. But there is a tornado warning in this area, so be careful. The vehicles that will be driving on this technically should be staying in shelter, or at least driving out of the tornado warning. But yeah, no camera view of this tornado warning at the moment, but you can see that there is still possibly something on the ground as we approach towards Rhonda and Pleasant Hill. There is a signature, debris signature still. Yes, still here. It does look like it's a little bit off-centered from the rotation, so that might mean that the debris is getting lofted somewhere else and the tornado was lifted. But we're still inshore at the moment. This still is an observed tornado at the moment as it approaches towards Interstate 77 between Jonesville and the Virginia state line. So be in shelter if you live in those areas. So we do have a tornado warning for Jonesville. It's radar confirmed. Alright, let's see if this updated yet. No, not at the moment. It takes a while to update, but you can see it is a very stormy situation at the moment. Not a lot of cameras in this area, which is interesting. Let's see if we have cameras viewing the storm here. Not really. No. Only this one would be able to see the storm. Sorry, I keep looking at that. I'll stop. Yes, we still likely have a tornado on the ground west of Jonesville. You can see that rotation continues to develop, and approaches the U.S. Route 21 near Stone Mountain State Park. Currently, this tornado is near Benham, near the Austin Trap Hill Road, with nearby its junction with West Walker Road. And this is approaching towards Elkin Valley and Business Route 21. So, everybody in North Carolina in this tornado warning should be in shelter. This likely is a tornado on the ground with this storm. Yeah, we're still seeing a little bit of a debris ball now along Route 268. Along this velocity signature, these brighter colors and these darker colors, that probably means that there still is a tornado on the ground with this system. Let's see how much the winds are. These are in meters per second. I'll convert them. Alright, so it does seem that these could be 37 meters per second. Of course, you can't confirm the winds in a tornado with radar. You probably need more than just the winds on radar. But you can at least get an estimation before the tornado comes. You can at least get an estimation. So let's look at this. I'm just trying to see. 38 meters per second. 2 miles per hour. 85 miles per hour. So this could have winds of up to 85 miles per hour. We're hoping it doesn't, but it could. As what the radar is showing. Even though this is far away, and these could be in the upper atmosphere, not at the ground. Everybody in Jonesville should be in shelter. Everybody in Jonesville should be in shelter. Still not seeing a new view on this. It looks like it updates every, 5 minutes or so. Ugh, I keep looking at that. I'm sorry. Alright, still some strong rotation here. It is pretty strong. Not anything too insane, but strong. Nevertheless, as it heads towards Elkin Valley and North Elkin, near the junction of North Carolina Route 268 and Business Route US 21. Alright, and it's now moved northeast. Of course, we do have to check from time to time on this tornado warning. And it looks like it's still ongoing. It's now crossing Interstate 40 near Statesville. Let's see if we can get a view on that. No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. We just have this view of the northern tornado warning. And that's not updating many. It's not updating often. Does maybe look like the rotation is weakened slightly. Wait, that's the wrong storm. Sorry about that. Does look like rotation actually has weakened slightly. We still are seeing some, but the winds are less. The winds are slightly less. Now they're down to 60-ish miles per hour, which doesn't mean that the tornado was weakened. It could actually mean that the tornado was lifted. Still an observe. Okay, so that southern tornado warning has been allowed to expire near Statesville. You can see the rotation on that has weakened enough to where now it is expired. Basically, you can see if the rotation is weakened if you're not seeing any of those brighter or darker colors next to each other. So this is still an observed tornado warning that is causing damage. Does look like it has lifted, though, since the velocity signatures are not where the CC signatures are. It does seem like it. Yes, it does seem like it. It's a little off. So that might mean that the tornado is no longer on the ground. It might. Not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that it might mean that. Because the CC drop is not connected with the velocity signatures. The darker and lighter colors next to each other are not where the blue colors are. So that means that there might not be a tornado on the ground anymore. There could have been still. Near Mulberry, another Mulberry. Long Interstate 77. Let's see if we got a new view. No, not at the moment. This was at 7:19 p.m., so this is a little earlier. We're waiting for the next view. Just reading this. This is gonna head into Virginia soon, so not sure what that means, but it may cross state lines. Hopefully not. Hopefully it'll die between. Hopefully it has already died. Does look like winds are continuing to get weaker. Yes, the winds are getting significantly weaker on this storm. So we may have a weakening storm. But that does not mean that there isn't a tornado on the ground. There could still be. But it does seem like it's significantly weakening. We still have these severe thunderstorm warnings, most of them with tornado possible tags, except for this one, which is currently encompassing Wilkesboro at the moment. Now, we do have this northern tornado warning where they were expecting the most tornadoes to occur. Doesn't really seem like we have that. I'm trying to look if we have some rotation here. A little bit near Fillmore. You can see there's some darker colors next to brighter colors, but they're not super bright, so we'll see what that means. We still are focusing on the confirmed tornado warning that is for Dobson at the moment. Let's see if we got an update. Okay, we did. This is at 7:20, and it is getting foggy up there. That isn't really a sign of a tornado, but it's getting foggy, so the storm is there, north of Elkin. Storm is there. Yeah, this would be near where the tornado crosses, so we'll see. This is the view pretty much now. You can see a few cars still there. They should be sheltering at the moment, but I understand if you're unable to. I understand. But it's just to protect you. Still some strong winds on this storm. It now looks like it's about to pass over Interstate 77, so the camera is our best bet at the moment. And let's see if we still have that CC drop. No, it's not there anymore, really. I think we're safe, guys. I mean, I don't want to say that yet. This is still a confirmed tornado warning. And there's still rotation here, you can see. But I do think it's unlikely now that this is on the ground. Unlikely. That doesn't mean you should get out of your safe spots. If you're in Dobson, if you're down here towards Jonesville, you should still be in shelter. But I'm just reporting that this could most likely not be on the ground anymore. Alright, this is now down to radar indicated. So thankfully, this is no longer a confirmed tornado. Now, at the moment, we don't think it's on the ground. We just think it's rotating at the moment. So it could try to be on the ground again, but it is unlikely as it crosses Interstate 77. So that is something we should be thankful for. You still have to be in shelter if you live in Dobson. Jonesville, you can come out of the safe spot now since you're out of the tornado warning. But you still have to be aware there could be a tornado on the ground, even though now it's unlikely. Still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Statesville with the tornado possible tag. That's where the previous tornado warning was. And looking up here, we still have nothing in the 10% risk, which is strange enough. Strange enough. And most of it is in the 2% risk. Or the 5%. Looking for any other areas of rotation. Yeah, a little bit here near Pageland. Not anything too insane, but a little bit. Tiny area there. Let's see if it matches up with the reflectivity. Yeah, it kinda does. Maybe along US 601 we could be getting a storm. Near Pageland. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Still have this tornado warning near Dobson. It's crossing over Interstate 77 now. Let's see if we can get a view on that. Still hasn't updated. Still isn't updated. So we have to wait. It does look like this possible tornado has weakened. And it might not be on the ground anymore, which is good news. After this tornado warning expires, I'll be able to go through an overview of what exactly is going on. Hopefully we won't get any more tornado warnings after this. Hopefully. But we are still seeing another severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tag. We're still seeing the possibility of a tornado with a storm, and also winds of 60 miles per hour. So, this is still a storm at the moment. Likely not producing a tornado anymore, but it still could as it approaches towards Mount Airy. So be careful if you live in Mount Airy. Still a lot of special weather statements in the Charlotte area. And there's a little bit of rotation here. A little bit. Some brighter colors next to some darker colors near Harrisburg. It's approaching Interstate 485, so we'll see. I apologize for that. We're back. Still weakening rotation as it approaches towards Dobson. But do have to be careful there. It has updated again. The camera. Still not seeing much. Seeing some clouds, though. In the region. Does look like this will be able to expire, though. Does look like it at the moment. There is a flash flood emergency, so let me look at that. We do have to pay attention to our flash floods in this area. Let's look at it. And it's for a fairly populated area, unfortunately. Here we have it, flash flood emergency just to the west of Pittsburgh for Cecil, McDonald, South Fayette Township, Sturgeon, McAdams, North Fayette Township, Oakdale, Venerdale, Santiago, Imperial, Robinson Township, Coriopolis, and Glenfield. So, this is a flash flood emergency. Local law enforcement reported thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 2 and 4 inches of rain have already fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing, so this is a damaging flash flood situation. Seek higher ground immediately. And also, just be aware that you're in the flash flood zone along this area in Interstate 376 between Pittsburgh International Airport and Pennsbury Village. So, this is a concern. There is a flash flood emergency at the moment for west of Pittsburgh. This is not your normal flash flood warning. That means that there is a significant area of rainfall in the region, and flash floods will be ongoing, and there'll be pretty extensive of flash floods in this region. So be aware that this is a system. This is a system that is producing lots of rainfall in the warned area, so be careful. Still, this tornado warning persists in North Carolina. Does look like we have a very intense weakening. Very notable weakening with this storm near Dobson. I don't have confidence about this tornado warning surviving much longer. Still have a lot of these special weather statements, though, in Kentucky. Let's see. Oh. Don't know what that's about. I don't know why it's showing that now. Nah, not much rotation. And Okay, so there's a new tornado warning. Possibly for this rotation near Boonville as it approaches towards Route 67. So, we're not getting a break now. We're still having a new tornado warning at the moment. Now for Boonville as it approaches. So that is a bit of rotation. You can see a bit of those brighter colors and darker colors next to each other. It's not always brighter colors and darker colors next to each other. It's also those darker colors of two different colors that you can see that are sometimes a sign. Well, no, not the darker colors, the lighter colors of two different colors that you can see. If you see brighter colors, then you'll get a sign that there is some more significant rotation with this one. But it's just a little rotation at the moment, but still enough to warrant a tornado warning. So everybody in Boonville and Pilot Mountain should now be in shelter. Sorry about that. So yes, Boonville here is under a tornado warning at the moment. Let's see if we can get any pictures of this. Not at the moment, unfortunately, no. There are some pictures nearby. Let's see this one. Can't see much on that. Interesting cloud formations here a bit. Here is this picture again. Very rainy situation, but you can see there's still some interesting clouds in the region. This isn't quite where the tornado warning is, though. The tornado warning is currently over here near Pilot Mountain. You can see some of those locations. Shoals, I believe, is under the tornado warning. I think I'm wrong on that. Well, Pilot Mountain is under it. And Shoals is under it, so Shoals is in the tornado warning, but there's no cameras in this region. And so is Siloam, so is Cedar Hill, Ash Hill, Pine Hill, Level Cross, Rockford, Nebo, and Union Grove. So just be careful with this possible tornado on the ground. Possible. We're not seeing a debris ball, so that means it's unlikely that it's on the ground at the moment. But still rotation, at least in the upper atmosphere, that warrants a tornado warning, as there could be a tornado with the storm. I'm sorry about that. The key makes click. Let's see the winds on this. I mean, that's only on one side. It's different. It might not be that strong if it's only on one side. If it's on both sides, that means it could be that strong. But if it's only on one side, it just might be heading away from the radar. That's how much it is heading away from the radar. It's not the winds actually, just the winds compared to where the radar is located. But still, now right over Boonville. Right over Boonville. Let me see the population of Boonville. Right over Boonville. Population of Boonville is 1,200. So 1,200 people are certainly in this tornado warning. Still have a little bit of rotation near Dobson. Now it's north of Dobson, but this is about to be expired. I think I agree with them. I agree with them. That is not big rotation. This isn't either, but it's still enough rotation to warrant a tornado warning. You can see near Boonville. Still rotation. Those brighter colors from each side of the color spectrum. With brighter colors with darker colors that are causing rotation. Rotation in this area here. It's expected to move, let's see. It's currently moving towards the northeast. Northeast. So, general direction of this is expected to be here. Maybe a little bit more, like here. Sorry for my bad drawing skills. No other tornado warnings at the moment, just that tornado warning. The other tornado warning was allowed to expire. As you can see, the rotation has died down with it, so that is good news. But for Boonville, you still have a tornado warning for you. Still looking like some rotation, which could be producing a tornado at the moment. Live stream has been going on for 40 minutes. I'm seeing a little something here. Along Interstate 40, north of Cool Springs. Kind of disappeared on the next one, but maybe a little bit of rotation there. You can see a few of those colors there. Along Interstate 40, you see something, but it's not as intense as this. It's not as notable. Still is a tornado warning at the moment for Pilot Mountain and US 52 in that area. And a little bit of Interstate 74 too. Over here, northwest of Pilot Mountain. Alright. Let's see if we can get more campers in this region. Not at the moment, no. I was hoping. This is just construction. No cameras in the region. Let's see if Radar Omega has any. Not really, no. We have a few in Charlotte. Let's see those. Some interesting cloud formations over Charlotte, but not much for the city right now. Just a few cumulonimbus clouds forming in the region. Over here, you can see a little bit of a sunset, which is nice. But what's not nice is that this is still a tornado warning ongoing. That is not nice. Yeah, now a line is beginning to form with a bunch of little rotations within the area. You can see a bunch of little rotations developing along this line formation. So we're seeing something interesting here. I don't know if the tornado warning is for all of them or just one of them, but it is looking like an interesting line at the moment that could be producing some rotations that could be there to develop some tornadoes. We're unsure at the moment, but it looks interesting. No debris ball, so this isn't confirmed. Vote tally, the tornado is not looking to hit Ohio. It is not looking to hit Ohio. This is in North Carolina. So, thankfully, there is a small tornado threat in Ohio, but it doesn't look like that's amounting to much. I'll tell you why exactly that isn't amounting to much at the moment, in a moment. But it doesn't look like that there is any tornadoes to hit Ohio at the moment. So, that is good. That is good for you. This tornado is currently in North Carolina. Still some rotation here. Still some rotation here near Rockford. Still better be in shelter if you live in Pilot Mountain. You gotta get into your safe spot, which, just so you know, is an interior room inside of your home. Specifically one that is separated from the outside, separated from outside windows. Windows shouldn't be there. Also, there shouldn't be any doors connecting to the outside world, or any sorts of connection towards the outside. There should be walls separating you from the outside world. If you were to walk through walls, if you had the ability to walk through walls, and if you end up outside as you walk through all of the different walls inside of the room, then you're not safe in that room. You have to move to a room where if you could walk through walls, then you wouldn't be able to get outside if you walk through the walls. That is the case for those in Pilot Mountain, as there is possible tornado in that region. Sorry about that. See, this is approaching US Route 52, gradually, but certainly. And it does look like it has tightened up a little bit, which is unfortunate. Does look like we have a bit of those darker colors next to those lighter colors, which we hope wouldn't happen, but it's okay. It still is unlikely that there's a tornado on the ground. It hasn't strengthened since then. You can still see a lot of contrast between these colors, which may mean that there could be a tornado. 36 meters per second, which is around 80 miles per hour. That doesn't mean that there is 80 miles per hour on the ground, but it does mean that it's a possibility. It's what the radar is detecting, so there could be some rotation, not necessarily a tornado producing 80 mile per hour winds. There's just some rotation. Just looking for any comments. Still some rotation near level cross. Gotta be in your safe spot. Still some rotation here. You can see those brighter colors next to the darker colors. That is possible rotation. You can see near Level Cross, Pine Hill, Cedar Hill. Over here towards Pilot Mountain. Let me see the population of Pilot Mountain real quickly. $1,449, 1,469. So there's probably around 3,000 people when combining it with the other town that I mentioned. 3,000 people in this tornado warning, likely more. So every one of those 3,000 people should be taken into shelter into an interior room of their house. Sorry, I keep shuffling my computer around. Sorry for the silence. Still nothing. Still no cameras near Pilot Mountain. Let's see if this has an update. Not looking at much. Just a cloudy environment. And not really many cameras nearby. Except for this one. Which, showing some clouds. But not showing anything too far away. Yeah, there are some interesting cloud formations in this general region. Towards Oak Summit. Not anything tornadic. Not anything tornadic. You can still see this rotation on this possible storm near Pilot Mountain. Still continues. Go bananas, I mean, that's fine, but, you know, tornadoes hurt people, so, kind of means that you love hurting people, but not really. Not really. You just love tornadoes. I mean, can't stop you. Still see this area of rotation near Pilot Mountain. It is beginning to get a little broad. That is when you have this separation between the brighter colors and the darker colors, that doesn't mean it's getting broad, which means it's less likely that a tornado is actually on the ground with this. So that is some good news. We're hoping that's the case. Let's see if we have a debris ball. I don't think that is. Even if it is, it would be very weak, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is at the moment. I'll see how it transfers to the next scan, but at the moment, it does not look like it. Still seen near Aravat and Ash Hill. Alright, so this is starting to look like multiple rotations at the moment. Sorry about my bad drawing. It's looking like a few areas where there's dark and light colors. However, doesn't look like they're very strong, all of them. Yet, all of them don't look very strong, it seems like. And none of them are causing damage, it seems. It does look like this is going to miss Pilot Mountain, which is good. It does look like it's going to head a little bit to the northwest, towards Long Hill, which is not good for them, but it does look like it's missing Pilot Mountain, thankfully. So that is some good news there, but you still have a tornado warning in North Carolina. Interesting little storm here. A little bit of rotation near Hillsville, next to Interstate 77. A little bit, not too much. It's over Sylvatus at the moment. Let's see if there's any debris, but I expect not. No, there isn't. But we still have these severe thunderstorms with tornado possible tags, at least the northern ones. And this storm with some rotation. Towards Pilot Mountain, we're still seeing some rotation. I'll see if there's any severe weather in Puerto Rico. Let's see. Let me see. Let me just see that again. Let's see if there's a strong wind warning. It doesn't say there's a strong wind warning for Puerto Rico. Not at the moment. But you do notice that, yes, when there's those rain bands, there usually is high wind warnings. Usually there is wind with rain, especially in this Puerto Rican area where the westerlies are close to. So that is pretty typical of that region. I understand. Alright, looking back towards that tornado warning then. Still there. Still there, existing. It's near Cedar Hill at the moment. Alright, so still have a possible tornado here, Pilot Mountain. It does look like it has weakened a little bit. You can see the colors are less bright, they're less intense as they approach towards Pilot Mountain, which is good news. That is what we're hoping for as this approaches US Route 52. This tornado warning may be able to expire soon. We're seeing tiny rotations possible along this line that's developing towards Pilot Mountain. However, at the moment, it does not seem like too much rotation is developing. Still some darker colors near Pilot Mountain. Still some. But it's not too insane. Which I'm glad for. Hopefully this isn't producing a tornado. Doesn't look like it at the moment. Yeah, I mean, sometimes Puerto Rico can get tornado warnings. It's rare, but it's possible. Not at the moment, though. There's no tornado warnings at the moment, which is good. Still watching this tornado warning in North Carolina, though, where they are unfortunately used to seeing tornadoes, at least at times. And unfortunately, it does seem like it has eventually headed to Pilot Mountain. However, it's still not that strong rotation, so even if it has reached Pilot Mountain, it does not seem like there's a tornado on the ground with this. Yes, so the National Weather Service agrees, and they've decided to put out, expire the tornado warning. So that is good news. Pilot Mountain, you can get out of your safe spot. You're safe now. There is still a tiny bit of rotation with the storm, but it's very, very low. It's not enough to sustain a tornado warning, so that means you are safe for the time being. Yeah, there still is a line that's causing some rotations along it, but not anymore at the moment. It does not seem like, except for this, it's not really much rotation. It isn't. Still a whole line of severe thunderstorm warnings with this linear system. It is a linear system that's passing through North Carolina. That is causing some problems in the form of special weather statements and severe thunderstorm warnings. Do have this isolated cell, which sometimes can... Oh, that is very interesting. That is very interesting, near Darlington. There is some rotation on this. I don't believe that's silo-contaminated, no. Yes, some rotation with this storm near Darlington. Very interesting. I don't think that's side-lobed. It doesn't seem like it. Basically, what it means is side lobe. If radar moves a little bit on top of something, if the radar beam is a little bit higher up than it should be, it sometimes detects those winds higher up in the atmosphere. And sometimes those winds higher up in the atmosphere are stronger. Most of the time they are. They're stronger than the ones in downstream of it, below it. So then that kind of looks like it's translating to the ground, those higher winds. It looks like as if there's a tornado or something as such, if there's those higher winds. But it's just because there's higher winds higher up in the atmosphere, and you believe that they're at the bottom of the atmosphere, but they aren't. Also, it could sometimes mean that they're transferring through hail, the radar beams, and that also means that some of them the hail could be mistaken for rotation. Sometimes hail can move in such ways that it looks like rotation, so that's another reason. There's many reasons for it, but that translates to what look like tornadoes, but they're not. But this, I'm not so sure if it is. Usually you can tell if it's silo contamination if it gets cut off easily. This somewhat is the case with the storm near Darlington, but not totally. So just be careful with this. This could be a possible tornado. Let's see the CC. No correlation coefficient on it, so that's good. But still some rotation with this isolated storm near Darlington. And since it is isolated, it does have a higher possibility of producing a tornado since it has that environment all to itself. Let's see how long this stream has been going for. 1 hour and 4 minutes. Yeah, this is looking interesting near Darlington. This could be silo because it's cut off. You can see there's a cut off of it. It just immediately cuts off. If you see those bright colors and it gets immediately cut off, that's a sign of silo contamination. But I don't know because there's also those brighter colors outside of that cutoff. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with that. The moment we just have severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm still going to pay attention to that, so I'm not going to do that forecast thing yet. I just need to pay attention to the storm at the moment. Let's see if it does it on other radars. Yeah, a little bit of rotation there. You can mainly see it on this radar. Little bit of rotation. Hello, Big Duck. Welcome to the stream. No tornado warnings active at the moment, which is good. Let's look at these severe thunderstorm warnings. So there are in the tornado watch. Few of them have tornado possible tags, specifically this one near Pilot Mountain, which used to have the tornado warning, and also this one that encompasses part of Winston-Salem, which is unfortunate for them. However, thankfully, it doesn't mean that there is a tornado on the ground or anything as such. If there was what was looking to be a tornado, then there would be a tornado warning. You can also see a lot of them don't have much hail with them. It's mostly the wind that we're seeing. Some of them have a bit more hail, specifically the farther south you go. There is a tornado possible tag on the storm near Concord, which is closer to Charlotte and Rockwell. I can see that, but not any concerning rotation at the moment. But you can see that there is a little bit greater hail, 0.88 inch in diameter. There is something a little, I don't know what this is. This just looks kind of like a mess here north of Wadesboro. Don't know if that translates to possible rotation. Probably doesn't. Still see this isolated cell near Darlington. Yeah, you can still see. It does look like it has weakened a little bit. It's raining pretty hard where I am. That's unrelated, though. No, it is related. It is related to what the storm is. You can see a lot of flash flood warnings. Let's go back to the flash flood side of things. A lot of flash flood warnings in West Virginia. Of course, we didn't get much of that tornado stuff, but you did see a few flash flood warnings, which does look concerning for the region. Unfortunately, this is a mountainous area, which means mudslides are likely to fall. Plus, it can also pool in those valleys. Still have this flash flood emergency that expires probably around midnight. Yeah, at midnight. And we're back with another tornado warning. Okay, never mind. We're back. I can see it here. It's not anything too insane, but a little bit of rotation along Route 89 there and Route 268. Northeast of Pilot Mountain. Alright, so we're back with the tornado warning. That was quick. Don't know if that means buy or high, but buy or high, Big Dog. Still have a tornado warning, though. Not for many areas, but you can see it's for Vad Macomb, Brimsgrove, Dan River Shores, Lawsonville, Snow Hill, Campbell, Hartstore, and Flat Rock. Goes all the way out to Route 704. Still storm. Yeah, I mean, the rotation is somewhat there, but it's not anything too insane. It doesn't look too insane at the moment, which is good. Still have all these severe thunderstorm warnings to the south, though. This storm has some intense winds approaching towards Winston-Salem, so be careful in Winston-Salem. Also towards Clemens, in the Greenwood area. Yeah, I think it's Green. In the Greensboro area, I meant. But Winston-Salem is going to get some pretty big winds from this, probably 60 miles per hour. There is still a tornado possible, but we're not really seeing anything at the moment. I will remember you. Still, a lot of these tornado warnings have at least been in the 5%, which is something to note. I mean, at least they're not in the 2%. Fortunately, we have seen that a lot of times this year. I mean, it seems so. A lot of times this year, it seems as if we've had those tornadoes that formed in the 2% region of wherever the forecast area was. Which is unfortunate, but we've adapted. It does seem like this is a little bit of forecasting if we now have 5% there. This is approaching towards Martinsville, Virginia. Interesting to note. That is the closest city in Virginia that we have along US 58. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you, big dog. Madonna, whatever. You can still see there is a storm that is approaching towards Danbury. Yeah, there is still some rotation with this. You can see it here. Some rotation with the storm. Jeez. I keep drawing so badly. Some rotation with the storm. It's kind of separated the darker colors from the brighter colors, which is good news, but still enough to warrant a tornado warning. So we see here, over towards Pilot Mountain, heading towards Martinsville. This is in northern North Carolina. Sorry about that. You know, there's this new area with some brighter colors. Yeah, real interesting area with some brighter colors and darker colors north of the tornado warning near Francisco. Let's see a background storm in South Carolina. Oh, and there is an interesting special marine warning here. severe thunderstorm capable of producing water spouts. So maybe get some water spouts in North Carolina over here towards Emerald Isle. And those could move ashore and possibly become tornadoes. Of course, water spouts can be the same thing as tornadoes. Sometimes they can be different. Water spouts are basically tornadoes that form over water. Sometimes they can be rotating air columns that form without storminess. Sometimes usually storms produce tornadoes. Well, not usually. They always produce tornadoes. I mean, storms can produce tornadoes, if you understand. Storms can produce tornadoes. But you can see there's a special marine warning here. I mean, there's some rotation, unless that's side lobe, because it is kind of cut off. That could be side lobe. But some possible water spouts off here towards Emerald Isle in North Carolina. These are slowly making it to the coast, so see that it doesn't really look like that tornado threat materialized in Ohio and West Virginia, so that's interesting to note. Winds and rain that we got last week. You think that came from the south, possibly? Yeah, I mean, it could have came from the south. Sorry, I don't know why I said that so loud. Kind of came from the west, really. That storm system, it kind of spun over the Great Lakes for a little bit, and all that rain and winds, kind of came from that system in the Great Lakes, rather than over the Atlantic. We did have a system over the Atlantic, for a little bit, and that moved ashore, probably. I don't know if that moved ashore. I think, basically, the storm that was spinning over the Great Lakes then moved ashore over the Atlantic Ocean, and then moved out to sea. And then became an extratropical cyclone over the ocean, which is pretty typical for systems. Just still checking the chat. Alright, so these storms are beginning to head towards the Raleigh-Durham area. They're still quite far away at the moment, but you can see they're making an approach towards that region. Also here, we're still seeing some storms, not really with much rotation, but we're still seeing some storms as they approach towards Roanoke. I'll be right back. I just have to go for a moment. I'm back. Yeah, okay, so the tornado warning has expired, which is good news. I could see that because the rotation did kind of ruin itself. You can see it's still there, but it's just very, very weak. It is a very weak system, so we're hoping that doesn't come back, and this system will likely remain in the dust for the time being. So, we'll see. Let me just get some water. I'm back. Yeah, I mean, there isn't no rotation with these storms, but it's not enough to produce a tornado warning. You can see there's still some near Friendship and Rostor. Yeah, I'm not talking right now because there really isn't that much to talk about. I mean, some possible rotations here near Walkertown, but otherwise not much. Really isn't that much to talk about, which is something we should be thankful for. There isn't much to talk about for a while, then I might as well leave, but... And everybody back. I am gonna have to end the stream soon, though, because really nothing is happening, so... Still watching these possible sneaky water spouts near Emerald Isle, though. But we'll see. We'll see if we have anything more. Still severe thunderstorm warning here in Stewart, Virginia. This is heading past the Interstate 77 corridor, and is now heading towards Winston-Salem, the Winston-Salem area, towards the Interstate 74 corridor, down to the Interstate 73 corridor.
It rains every day.
Yeah, that's about it, folks. I'll wait a little bit. I can wait a little bit. We'll see if anything happens. Maybe we'll see if we get a severe thunderstorm from Martinsville. I don't know if we will. Still have a tornado possible tag on this storm near Seven Lakes. Can't really see from here. A little bit of rotation from where that is showing. Yeah, a little bit of rotation here. We'll see what happens with that. Near Mount Gilead. I still see some rotation. We could get it. I mean, there is a no rotation with the storm that was previously tornado warned, but really isn't that much. Yeah, let's see if we have our newest SBC outlook now. They might have updated it to accommodate how the storms haven't been progressing off in Ohio. No, not really. They haven't been doing anything much. It's still the same. Unless that they haven't updated it yet. They might have not updated it yet. Or maybe they did. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like the tornado threat is over yet. Still have some threat along the coast. We have to wait until these storms leave the coast, and then we're good. Of course, then we have to wait for a next storm system. Now, I know I wasn't able to really go over the forecast with you guys, but I will show you that in another video. Of course, I am going to be making more videos on the general severe weather forecast. I'm sorry if I haven't been able to do recently. And I will try to get back into the swing of things with making those videos on the individual tornado tracks. I am hoping to continue the animation of the January 8th to 9th tornado outbreak, which hopefully will be coming out very soon. I have taken a brief pause on that project soon. But anyways, I mean, I really think that's it. I mean, unless if we get another storm. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I will be leaving here soon, folks, but we'll have to see. Have to see. I mean, there is a little rotation here near Mount Gilead. Not anything too insane, but let's see if we can see it here. There was a little bit there. Alright, well, that special weather statement in South Carolina has gone away. Let's see if there... just a little bit, but it definitely has weakened from what we previously saw. Yeah, it definitely has weakened. So, before we leave, I do want to do a brief overview of all of the tornadoes we've had over the past few days. Because we've had quite a few. Let's just take a look at everything we've seen over the past few days. Because we've had quite a few tornadoes from the previous events, which unfortunately I haven't been able to cover much. We do have this initial value that is meant to represent what we have initially seen with that tornado in St. Augustine. Still hasn't been fully measured yet, but we do have one EF0 document there. We have a few tornadoes that we had near Pensacola, Florida. This was here. I'm starting backwards. Let me start from the actual beginning. So the very first tornado we had was here in... No, wait, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to find where the first tornado was. I'm not sure all the tornadoes have been documented yet, but a mass majority of them. Alright, this is the very first tornado we had. So it's the Northern Warren County tornado, which I named Jesse. So Tornado Jesse was an EF0 tornado that moved towards the moved in the general region of the Yazoo County, and also which county? Warren County state lines. Yazoo and Warren County state lines. It was around about 10 miles to the northeast of Vicksburg. That was the very first tornado of this event. Then we had the Learn tornado, which I named Chimere. So Chimere was an EF1 tornado that produced some damage, 100 miles per hour at the moment is what we're looking at. You can see some of the damage it caused. It caused some trees to fall down. It also caused I mean, there's people in the picture, but it caused some damage to a log cabin house, it seems like. It's still the same picture. And it caused some damage to maybe the roofing of a house, but trees nearby were damaged. And you can see, furthermore, there is some damage here. You can see some trees. It's mostly tree damage that we saw with the small tornado that developed here. It was a smaller tornado. The wind was only 100 miles per hour. The width was only 75 yards. Then, next up, we have that Louisiana tornado, which I named Lisbeth. Lisbeth was near the Toledo Bend Reservoir in the western portions of Louisiana. It was a small EF0 tornado with 85 mile per hour winds. So that didn't cause too much damage, even though it was 440 yards wide, which is quite a bit. Definitely a significant size with this tornado, but it wasn't much besides that. Then after that, we had the Katy, Texas tornado. With the Katy, Texas tornado, I'm still looking at this. Alright, well, now we have severe thunderstorm warning for Martinsville. So that's interesting to know. 60 mile per hour winds for that, so just be careful in Martinsville. Be inside, away from windows. Otherwise, let's get back to it. This is the Katy, Texas tornado, which I have named Mars. Mars caused some damage. There was a lot of videos of the damage. A lot of store roofs being torn around in this region, and a lot of damage being recorded. But that's just because it's a mainly populated area. You can see some of the roof was taken down by this tornado, and a lot of the grinders and tiling in this area was also damaged by these houses. Also, you can see a few of those roofs have been torn off, and you can see a few of those inner sides roofs were also torn off, and some more damage. You can see that the roof, once again, in the same neighborhood, was dropped off and was nearly hit a car. That was some of the damage that we saw with this tornado. Then after that, we had another tornado, this time in Mississippi. This was the third and final tornado that we experienced in Mississippi. This was near the Flora area and Madison area. It was the Lake Camden tornado, also known as Nayeli. Tornado Nayeli was an EF0. It briefly touched down in this general vicinity of Persimmon Creek, and you can see there was a few damage areas, especially this footage of a tree that fell down besides the lake, and also this area of damage where you can see a tree's bark was slightly cut off. So that was some more damage from this system. Then we had quite a few tornadoes in the Louisiana and Texas area besides this, which is probably the main show that we saw. Then, of course, after, we had this Port Arthur EF2 tornado, a very strong 120 mile per hour system that was named Omer by me. Tornado Omer, and this head towards the Sabine Lake over the Sabine River, and this was at the edge of Port Arthur. It was a very populated area. Port Arthur is a very populated area. That is a city, but you can see some of the damage in this region. A whole roof has collapsed. It collapsed in on itself and collapsed towards the house's edge. And also some of the tiling has collapsed a little bit too. Some of the inner roof panels have collapsed. And of course, there is more roof tiling that was damaged by this tornado. Definitely a very extensive damage from this tornado, Omer. Then we had Tornado Peace. There was two tornadoes, Peace and Quonset. Peace and Quonset, The southern one was Quonset. The southern one was Peace, actually, and the northern one was Quonset. So this one hasn't had any attachments to it too, so no pictures on it, but it did cause some damage from Big Pashtun Road all the way towards Highway 384. Then we had this one near Big Lake Oil Field that formed near the Cam Line Road area, and all the way down back, forming all the way towards Route 384. So these were two small tornadoes that didn't cause too much damage. We're still rated the EF1. Then we had another EF2 tornado near Lake Charles, a very populated area once again, which is very unfortunate. Tornado Raylan. Tornado Raylan hasn't had any pictures on it so far, but it still says it is a tornado that touched down near the eastern side of McNeese State University and crossed Common Center, Harvard, and Kirkman Streets. This was a damaging tornado, and some people definitely would have been impacted as this tornado approached Interstate 210. So that definitely caused some damage. Then you had a few other tornadoes in central Louisiana. You had the Parish Line tornado from a grain bin that ripped down from the ground and destroyed hardwood strapped in the trunk. You can see quite a few damage points in this video. You can see a roof paneling was definitely taken out. I believe that's a roof paneling. And you can see some tiles were scratched from the ground up. And some rollers of sorts. This is near Church Point. So this tornado was named Sage. It was named Sage. So Sage did cause some damage for sure. Near the Church Point area. Then we had a few more tornadoes. We had one near Washington, which caused some damage. It was known as the Thistlethwaite tornado. The Thistlethwaite tornado near Tiffany. That was named Tiffany. So Tiffany did cause some damage. You can see the damage points here. It did cause quite a few pictures to be shaken, specifically towards tree damage. You can see some of the trees' bark has been cut off, and it also has been collapsed for the matter. And also farther away from the tornado itself, you can see that there was actually some more damage. However, no injuries have been reported with any of these tornadoes that I have previously mentioned. Then we had this one near Port Barry. Port Barry, this was another tornado that formed along Highway 103 that was named Yusef with a U. Yusef with a U caused some very minimal damage in the small area. It isn't really even that much. You can see there is quite a few pictures with it. Mostly bark has been cut off from it, and there has been some bark that has been detached from the storm. I'm just looking at the severe thunderstorm warnings, no new tornado warnings or anything. And then you can see farther down, you can see some more damage from the trees. Moving on, we're more than halfway done, I presume. Then towards New Roads and Morganza, we had a storm. Sorry, I was just looking at something. Sorry about the background. Morganza, we had a tornado that formed at around 8:58 a.m. with this linear system that was named Vanya. Vanya did cause some damage as it approached the Mississippi River right at the edge of that county line. Then, after that, we had the storm near St. Francisville, which did cause somewhat significant damage. However, thankfully, it didn't cause any injuries nor fatalities. It did reach 110-mile-per-hour winds, which are significant, but not quite a significant tornado, for that matter. This was around 9:10 a.m. to 9:18 a.m., and this was named Wheeler, based on the Alabama name. Then we had the strongest tornado of the event, presumably. Of course, technically isn't the Port Arthur. It's tied with the Port Arthur tornado, but it definitely caused the most damage. Apparently there were no injuries, but I've heard of injuries before, but definitely quite a bit of damage from this tornado as it moved through the Slidell area. This was definitely a significant amount of damage. You can see this wall is beginning to be peeled off by the tornado, and furthermore, you can see... Here. You can see a wall was smashed by trees oncoming and spinning around the whole region. So, this was definitely a significant tornado as it approached the Interstate 10, Interstate 12, and Interstate 59 junction. But there were many more tornadoes, and presumably this could have been all one tornado that formed north of... to the east of Pearl River. But the Slidell tornado, I have retired it due to the amount of injuries it caused, probably. Its name was Xania with a Z, with an X. Then we had Tornado Yuvon. Tornado Yuvon was likely all of this. I mean, I'm not sure at the moment. This could have been 3 separate tornadoes that kept touching down. Sometimes when I consider one tornado to be one vortex. One vortex. If it's still one vortex, then I believe it's still the same tornado, even if it touches down, even if it lifts off the ground briefly and touches down again, it becomes a funnel cloud and then becomes a tornado. However, I'm not sure if this is the case, so this could be Tornado Yuvon or Tornado Yuvon, Zyla, and Alana. And this moved towards the Diamond Head region, and you can see one damage point with this area, as you notice. No attachments found, but that is a possible tornado that we saw north of Diamond Head, and a lot of people were wondering about that one too, so that is something we needed to cover. That was the 4th and final tornado in Mississippi. I said it's just hard to tell because this is far south Mississippi. I don't know, I almost thought that wasn't part of Mississippi. I don't know, that's the newest incident, so I wasn't sure what that was. Then we had this, we actually had a funnel cloud before this. A funnel cloud 27 or 30 DXA. It could have been 27 or 29 DXA. 27 or 29 DXA. That formed near Wilmer, Alabama, in this general region, along US 98 and then east towards Alabama Route 217. I'm trying to find that route at the moment. Here's US Route 98, and this eventually reached towards Route 217, which I can't find at the moment. I believe is here. So it moved in this general direction. That's where it connected. Then we had an actual tornado. That was just a funnel cloud. Then we had an actual tornado near Brighton State that was named Zyla. Or it could have been named, based on what we're seeing with the eventual information, it could have been named... It's not working. Jeez, my phone isn't working. I keep these names on record on my phone, so... Jeez. Why are you still not working? Alright, there we go. Okay, then we had Tornado Zyla, which was near Brighton State, which could have also been named Boston, depending on if that was one tornado or not. And this had a few damage points within it. It was an EF1 tornado, and it caused some damage. You can see some tree branches were knocked down, and a general picture of a tornado in this region. You can see quite a few pictures from this area. You can see a roof has been slightly damaged. You can see some of the tiling has come off of it, and also some of the inner inner structures inside of the roof has been also destructed. You can see that there also was a few objects blown around from the tornado as well, which was part of what the winds could have done. Then that was the only tornado we had in Alabama from the storm. But then we had 2 other tornadoes in Florida. We're not going to cover the St. Augustine tornado yet because that hasn't been fully rated. But we had the Bellevue tornado, which would either be named Alana or Copper, and Alana or Copper did cause some damage near Bellevue area, and there was some trees uprooted from the system, definitely a few trees, and also some of the roofs had to be tarped based on this damage from the tornado. But you can see a few collapsements of trees, and a collapsement of a speed bump sign that was for 20 miles per hour. And also up here, you can see a few other areas of damage. You can see some more trees being uprooted along the Interstate 10 area. Then finally, we had this one tornado that formed near Pace, Florida. This was another EF1 tornado called the Pace tornado, and this was either named Duncan or Boston. Duncan or Boston did cause some damage. It was right next to the Escambia Bay region and did cause some pictures of damage to come out, such as this image where you can see a part of a fence being torn off and some tiling for the ground was also being destructed off of a path. Then some of the fence was knocked in over itself, and that was another image that you saw. And some of the damage also consisted of wall tiling to be thrown off. You can see there was also a tree uprooted and such. That was it for all the tornadoes, and that is all I need to share with you. There has been updates to the St. Augustine tornado. It has been rated an EF1, which was pretty surprising since it was a strong tornado. It looked like it because of the wedgeness of it. It was a wedge tornado, but, you know, that's what they surveyed, so you can't blame them. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and such. And I hope I'll be seeing you soon on a live stream or a video. We'll see. So, goodbye.